Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent for Goal. I hope you've got your fingernails left. I hope you've got your breath back. I just about have after what was a pretty gut-wrenching night of Europa League football. Arsenal going through, just keeping their season alive. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang stepping up, 3 minutes remaining to head home. Bukayo Saka's fabulous cross to keep Arsenal's season alive. 3-2 winners on the night. Going through 4-3 on away goals. I mean, it's tough to even tell the whole story about what a dramatic night that was. For so long, it looked like it was going smoothly. Aubameyang giving Arsenal the lead midway through the first half. And then, they were in complete and utter control. And then one silly mistake from Ceballos, giving away a free kick just before half-time. Bang, straight in the top corner, 1-1 at half-time. The whole outlook of the game, the second half changes. And then another mistake from Ceballos, that really weak back header, gifting Rafa a goal. 2-1 at that point. Looked like Arsenal were heading out, just under half an hour remaining, but they managed somehow to turn it around. They weren't great. It wasn't some heroic last, siege for half an hour, anything but really. Tierney got them level at 2-2 soon after Rafa's goal, and you thought at that point it would be like throw the kitchen sink at Benfica. It would be non-stop pressure, but it didn't really work out like that. They had to be patient. They kept the ball. I think substitutions, Mikel Arteta said they made a difference, and he especially praised Willian. I'll get to that in a minute. But I wasn't sure if they did. I think they certainly put maybe more attacking players on the pitch, but it left a big gaping hole in midfield, really, and it sort of took Saka out of the defence. And I thought Benfica coped with Arsenal pretty comfortably in that last half an hour. But then Arsenal stepped up just as you wanted. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, I said earlier today, I thought he was going to prove to be the difference tonight, and he did just that. Admittedly, again, it was all down to Bukayo Saka and that fabulous crossing to Aubameyang, who headed it in at the back post. And there was that nervy way, as it always is in football now, when VAR checked it. Was he offside? Was he onside? Thankfully, the decision went Arsenal's way, and they are now into the last 16 of the Europa League. Benfica will certainly be feeling pretty sorry for themselves at the way they went out, but I think over the two legs Arsenal was certainly the better team, and had they gone out tonight then they would have only had themselves to blame, no doubt about it, for missing the chances in the first leg and then gifting Benfica the goals. Certainly the second goal tonight, they were staring into the abyss at one point before that Aubameyang winner right at the death. And had they lost tonight, been out of the Europa League again at this stage of the season, effectively your season's over before March. Yes, they're only 6 points off the top six, but even so, they are 11th in the Premier League. There's teams in between them and Liverpool in 6th. It's a lot. It's a big ask to ask them to get top six now. The Europa League is certainly Arsenal's best route back into Europe next season, and their only chance of silverware. Had they gone out tonight, then the question marks would certainly been asked to Mikel Arteta, and the spotlight would have been firmly on him between now and the end of the season. He knew that. You could tell by his celebrations at full time just how important that comeback was, not just for the team, but for him. And it will be interesting to see what it does for the remainder of the season. Now, can they kick on from this? Can this be the moment that really kick-starts Arsenal's season? They certainly showed character, because they were, as I said, staring into the abyss at one point tonight. And they showed character to haul themselves up. Bukayo Saka, once again, the man who made the big difference, finding the quality when Arsenal really needed it with that ball, picking out Aubameyang. And yeah, now Arsenal can wait for tomorrow's draw. It could be English teams tomorrow. Now in the last 16, Arsenal couldn't be kept away from them like they were in the last 32, and he could draw Tottenham. And if that is the case, there would be 3 North London derbies in the space of a week, because the Premier League game would be sandwiched in between it. Can you imagine that? Mikel was speaking, he's just finished his press conference today afterwards. It certainly keeps the season going, that's for sure. Today would have been really harsh after what happened in the 2 legs for us to go out, so I'm extremely happy to go through. We gave them 2 goals. When you do that, you are going to be in trouble. After the reaction of the team gave me hope. He was talking about Dani Ceballos and the mistake obviously he made. He got substituted straight after the second mistake, and Mikel says, I'm especially happy for Danny because he is a player who lives his profession like it's the most important thing in his life, and when he made that mistake that would have cost the team and got out of the competition, that would have been mentally really tough. That is when you need players in the team like the ones we have with Auba, creating the situations. Kieran scoring the goal to save him, get him out of a difficult situation, and created a really nice moment. Mikel was also asked about Willian, where he was asked about the substitution. We talked about the substitution. He said, with Willian especially, I think he changed the game, he produced some creativity, and he set up the goal for Tierney. He did that, so fair play to Willian, because he's got a lot of grief. I think we all questioned when that substitution was made. We thought, why is Willian coming on when you need 2 goals to save the tie? But he popped up with a really crucial assist just for Kieran Tierney, and so he deserves some credit tonight. And on Auba, Mikel said, I completely trust him because he's producing the chances, and when Auba has chances, he's going to score goals. The last few days after the game in Rome, where he missed 3 or 4 opportunities he would have normally had, he needed to react, and it was great to see the way he reacted to being upset and to trying to be better. It's not just about feeling sad for yourself in this moment. I'm really pleased with what he has done tonight. It's a great moment for Arsenal. They're through, scrappy at times. Look, it wasn't pretty, but they're through, and that's the most important thing. Right, let's talk about player ratings, shall we? I'll rattle through these today. I mean, there's not going to be great scores because I didn't think they were all particularly special tonight. A couple of good performances. I don't think it'll be any surprise who the 2 main men were for Arsenal, but let's go with some ratings. Bernd Leno didn't really have anything to do apart from pick the ball out of his net. One from an absolutely fabulous free kick, and another when he was basically left in no man's land by a mistake by Dani Ceballos, so you can't really criticise him for that at all. Other than that, he was relatively unworked, didn't really have a save to make. In fact, I'm just going to have a look to see how many shots on target Benfica had. They had 3 shots. No, they had 2 shots on target and they scored both of them. So there you go. Bernd Leno didn't have any other saves to make at all. So yeah, not his most difficult night, but I'm going to give Bernd Leno a 6. Hector Bellerin came off in the second half and Arsenal started throwing players on, trying to make a difference. Didn't really do too much wrong. I didn't think Hector wasn't great or anything like that, but I'm going to give Hector a 6. I thought David Luiz and Gabriel, certainly in the second half when things started to go against Arsenal, they got really, really panicky at times. I thought Gabriel did. David Luiz made a couple of his typical David Luiz errors as well. Gabriel looked really nervy when he was on the ball in that second half. He was panicking a lot. Benfica almost could have taken advantage of a couple of situations that those 2 got themselves in. So not the best of nights, I didn't think, for Luiz and Gabriel. I'm going to give them both a 5. Kieran Tierney gets a 7. Didn't stop working. I didn't think he had the best of first halves. He struggled a little bit, but he carried on, showed that desire that we always know from Kieran Tierney. Fabulous goal as well to haul Arsenal level straight after the Benfica made it 2-1, and that goal was so important, and for that goal alone he gets a 7. Granit Xhaka and Dani Ceballos. I actually thought Ceballos wasn't having a bad game until that error that gave away the free kick just before half time, and then obviously followed that up with another worse error in the second half. So I'm going to give Danny, I'm going to have to give him a 5 just because of those 2 errors. They were 2 really, really big errors, but I didn't actually think he played that badly for the first half until then. Granit, as usual, it was classic Xhaka game. I thought he kept Arsenal ticking. He saw most of the ball. I think he had the most passes. He did have the most passes, 85, 78 of them were successful. Bellerin had the most touches actually for Arsenal, but Xhaka had second with 90%. He won 100% of his duels, so I thought it was a decent enough performance from Granit. I'm going to give him a 7. In terms of the forward line, Bukayo Saka, he gets man of the match for me. I know Aubameyang got both the goals, but I just thought he couldn't miss that second one, especially Aubameyang. It was put on a plate for him by Saka, and when you need it, he just steps up time and time again for Arsenal this season. Absolute leader at the age of 19. What a talent he is. Bukayo Saka gets an 8. Odegaard I thought was pretty solid, made things happen at times, so credit to him for that. I'll give him a 7. Emil Smith-Rowe, difficult evening for Smith-Rowe. Again moved out onto the left to accommodate Odegaard. Didn't think it was one of his best performances, but he didn't stop working, so credit to him, and it's certainly a learning experience for such a young, inexperienced player. So I'll give Smith-Rowe a 6, and Aubameyang has to get an 8. 2 goals. What more do you want from your captain? Stepping up when he needed him, when his team needed him most. So I'm going to give Auba a 8 as well, but Saka gets my man of the match. In terms of substitutes, Partey and Willian were on for the longest. I thought Partey certainly made a difference when he got on the ball in midfield, and could give him a 6. And Willian, I'll give a 6 as well, because he got himself an assist, which credit to him for that, and certainly worked hard and made himself a willing runner when he came on. So that's it for my bit of a match review and player ratings. I will put back on tomorrow to talk about this one and what Mikel Arteta had to say, and focus ahead to the game against Leicester on Sunday. Thanks for watching, everyone. Go and relax for the rest of your evening. Put your feet up, pour yourself a glass of wine or a nice, open up a nice bottle of beer and just celebrate. Not the prettiest of Arsenal victories, but a victory nonetheless. Arsenal through to the last 16 in the Europa League. It's finished Arsenal 3, Benfica 2.